Okay, welcome back everybody, and we are now on box 24, which is another 5 cubic feet, and I think there's going to be quite a few in this one. So the first one is Munchkin. Munchkin is a game that I played with my brother the very first time in 2017. The kids played it and they wanted it for some reason, and I came across it and I was like, oh, maybe not. And it's like, oh, no, Mom, we need Munchkin. Munchkin is just like, it's a take that, honestly, a take that card game. Says, kill the monsters, steal the treasure, stab your buddy. So you just kind of have these different cartoony characters. You can get them different weapons. You'll go attack different monsters. You can ask the other players to help out, but sometimes they'll just make the monster more powerful as well, kind of making it difficult. And I think the goal is to kind of reach level 10. It's an okay card game. It's a neat one. It's kind of the cartoon, and I think like the theme kind of appealed to my boys. So that's Munchkin. Now, you're going to wonder why, being that I was just like, oh, Munchkin, so I don't know if I really like it. Well, I also have Star Munchkin, because, you know, if you're going to get Munchkin, why not go ahead with it? So actually, I don't remember buying this game. I was going through my games, reorganizing it, and this one came up. I'm like, huh, when did we get this one? So I haven't actually played this yet, but we also have Star Munchkin. And then, just because why not, and it was Halloween, we got Munchkin Zombies, you know, to go ahead with the Munchkin theme, I guess. And this one is, you're trying to get brains, or I'm not sure. What does it say? You're a zombie, eat brains, grab the loot, and level up. Brains. So, I mean, the artwork looks kind of silly and funny, and I think the kids would like it. And then it'd be kind of for a Halloween one, it would be kind of cool. So we have also Munchkin Zombies. And then, because why not, Munchkin The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, I gotta tell you, this has the most amazing dice I have ever come across. And I think this was part of like a lot that I bought that also had this one. And it's Munchkin, just based on the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. Again, I haven't played this one yet. I want to. So it's into to be played pile. So Munchkin The Nightmare Before Christmas. Then we have Blockus. Now this is just a really flimsy box, simple Blockus game, but Blockus is so cool. It's such a kind of a neat two-player, this is a two-player version, so it's a neat two-player puzzle game. You have to add your pieces. These are kind of plastic pieces that come in all different shapes, and you cannot share a side with your own color. You can only share corners with your own color. So, but you can share sides with the other color, that's fine. And whoever cannot legally place a piece loses the game. So you're just trying to kind of trap the other players. So, Blockus. Then I have, now in the last box, if you remember, I had Escape Room the game. And I've already did the 4 scenarios in there, but we keep them because you can buy extra scenarios that'll utilize that timing bomb. And this one is a 2-player edition. I got this as a gift from my brother. So we did the Prison Island. Actually, I did that one with my sister, and I still have the Asylum to do. So I really enjoy these one. I'm excited to give this a try as well. And then I have Lahav, the Inland Port. And this one is a 2-player variation of Lahav. I've never played Lahav, so I don't know how it compares, but I really enjoyed this one. The way that you keep track of your resources was fairly unique. And then you have this rondelle that kind of moves forward every round, and you're trying, like, so every time it moves forward, it makes the building that is like next to it more powerful in the action that they can do. And then, but if it ever reaches a building, it forces you to sell it for half the value. So you want to make sure you use the building, because then it resets. Now the thing is, you can also pay money to use the building in the other player's rondelle, which could be really frustrating if you had plans for it. Now, before I go to the next game, I want to point out the decor behind me. Me and my stepdaughter just put that together. These are like little cork foam boards that are stick-on. And because of the shape, I thought it looked like a little game tile. And I thought it would kind of do a neat backdrop for my game room. So I absolutely adore how it turned out. Just thought I'd point it out because I just noticed it there in the video. So then I have Seven Wonders Duel. This one is a 2-player version of Seven Wonders, and it's really neat. There's like the solitaire pyramid thing, so as a card gets unblocked, you can flip it over and then you get to see what's there, so you don't necessarily see all the cards right away. And then there's a, cards collection, so you're collecting the different cards for different resources, and you kind of set collection is what I'm trying to say. You're collecting money, resources, different science, and the military card as well. So this is a really neat 2-player game. Seven Wonders Duel. Okay, what else we have in here? In here I have Cairo. I was at Gobfest and we're at the flea market and it's winding down and there's a few games left and most people are like, oh, whatever, like they didn't want to pack it back up, and this was one of them. And I had never heard of it. I had never seen anything about it. And I was like, well, I don't know, would you take this much? I don't even remember how much I paid for it. Then I went home and I opened it and I gasped out loud. I was so surprised. The component in this game is out of this world. It's a timer. This is how you keep track of your fuel, because fuel is a really hot commodity. So this is how you would fuel back up. And you kind of, you fuel up and then the other player rolls the dice until they roll something that forces you to stop. And then, okay, so this is how much fuel you have. And then you're going out and you put your thing up as you're kind of doing your action. And as soon as you're done, you stop so you don't waste too much. There's 2 of these, one for each player. Oh my God. I'm absolutely in love with these components. I haven't played this game yet, so I'm excited to try. It's a 2-player game, and I guess it's like post-apocalyptic era. Oh, the rule book is huge. I hope it's just because it have multiple language. It does. It have multiple language, so hopefully it's not. I see 3 language at least, so excited to give this one a try, just for the component alone. So that was Cairo. And then I have Chronicles of Crime, the 1900 edition. And in this one, you are a journalist and your uncle is part of the police force and you get called in to help him solve some crimes. And it just has like that, historical era type mystery solving game. And I really like the Chronicles of Crime. It's app driven and you're going around scanning the cards of people you come across, and then you'll scan the weapons while you're talking to them to ask them about the weapon, or scan the victim to ask that person about the victim. Then you can leave that conversation, go to another location, so you'd scan that location, now you're there. You can scan the people that are at new location. It's just so interesting the way that it works. And this is Chronicle of Crime, the 1900 edition. I also have Chronicle of Crime 2400, and this one is just more futuristic. The mechanism is the exact same, but then you'll have cyborg or computers or different people that you can kind of go and talk to. So it just has like a more futuristic theme. So I haven't played and tried this one at all yet. This was one of the latest that I purchased for the Chronicle of Crime, so I haven't tried it yet. And then what else we have in here? Odins Ravens. This is a racing game, and it's a 2-player racing game. So you have all these narrow cards, and you put them all in a row, and then you'll have kind of different things that you can go from terrain to terrain, or you have to have the terrain card to move forward on it, but you can also kind of shift the card up or down so that they're no longer on your half, but they're on the other player's half. So you're kind of messing up with the pattern. And the first one to make it all the way through wins the game. And you have like a black raven and a white raven, so it's a neat game. I really enjoyed it. Well, and then we have the original Chronicle of Crime. And this is great because, as I mentioned, it's app driven. You have all the different scenarios that you can do, but then on the app you had the option to buy extra stories that they were releasing using the same card. Now there's like the other two that I just talked about, those are standalone, and this one is standalone as well, but then you can have those extra scenarios, and I believe there are expansion which gives you extra cards to go in this one as well. It is so good. I just absolutely adore this game. It's kind of like you're, you know, whodunit, trying to solve the crime. I love that kind of stuff. And then when I went into my Star Trek themed game kick, we got Star Trek Catan. And this plays very much like Catan, except you have the character cards that will give you special abilities that kind of just like, you know, could make it that you don't get, the robber can't steal from you, or different things like that will happen. Really neat. It's such a cool looking board. And then like you have little enterprises, and then space station, and then like upgraded space station. Super cool. Star Trek Catan. Oh my god, this one is heavy. So, this one is Dinosaur Island. I purchased this one as a Christmas gift for my brother. I had played it with a friend before, and I've really enjoyed it, and I thought he would enjoy it as well. So, this is actually his copy here. So, you have your own board. You got two boards, so like the science side of it and then the park side of it, and you're kind of doing all these worker placement type things, and then you have the DNA dice that you can kind of collect from, and you're researching dinosaur DNAs, you're recreating these dinosaurs, you're putting them in the park, but you kind of make sure that your security is high, because they will eat the people visiting your park if you don't have high enough security. It's a really neat game. And then my brother's like, you know what? I've played it a few times. It's okay. I don't know why. I don't really love this one. So he gave it back to me, which I'm not going to complain about. So I've got Dinosaur Island now. Then I have, oops, I'm dropping some. Coven. So I was at the Calgary YYC game day, and then they had a small flea market there, and then this one was in there, and then this game looks super neat. I love the theme. The different parts of this game look super interesting. The component looks just amazing, and it has a rotating board. I'm not sure how that works, but that whole concept looks so cool. And I was telling my friends that were there about it, and then the one's like, well, if you don't like it, let me know, I'll replace it. And I'm like, why would you do that? It's like, I think I want to play it, I don't want to replace it. And that's because it was my friend Paul who designed the game, and I didn't realize he had. So I'm super excited to give this one a try. It looks amazing. So that's the Coven, or just Coven, I guess. Then I have, oh, the other one, Chronicles of Crime. And this one is the 1400 edition. So it just happens a little bit earlier in history. And with this one is like you investigate. So you're an investigator or a police officer in that era, but you have visions. So you'll have vision cards that'll come up that'll give you hints about what is happening in the crime, and you're trying to solve everything. It looks super neat. You have this little dog that follows you around, so you can have him kind of follow scent or something like that. I've only played like 1 or 2 scenarios in this one. So Chronicles of Crime 1400. Super excited for this one. Then I have Telestration After Dark. So I'm a big fan of Scribblish, which kind of plays exactly like this, but it's on paper. And then first you do a drawing, and then you kind of put a caption, and then you do a drawing, and then you put a caption on what you see. But things get shuffled, and you try to figure out which is yours in the end. And this is just the adult version, and it's a little rough here because it actually glows in the dark, I guess. I've never played it. I've never actually played it with the dry erase one, so I could play this Scribblish with the dry erase boards, or play with these cards as well. I'm excited to give that a try. So Telestration After Dark. Alrighty, we also have, in an earlier videos, we had the game Zombies, and when I bought it, we also got the game Humans. Not sure how this compares. So with this one, there's 20 tile maps. For the event cards, you got the weapon deck, wound decks, capture deck, 60 human victim figures, and 60 new zombie figures in 6 different poses this time. So I'm really excited to kind of give this a, I mean, it looks ridiculous. But I'm excited to give it a try and see how that plays. So, humans. All right, and then we have Catan Seafarer. So this is an expansion to Catan that kind of adds traveling across the ocean. So you get little boats now as well. You can build your routes over the water also, and you can discover new lands. It's kind of, kind of has an interesting kind of change a little bit to the Catan game, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. So that's Catan Seafarers. And then we have Istanbul, the dice game. I have never played Istanbul. I have never played Istanbul, the dice game. But my friend Carla in our podcast, the Board Game Specialist, talks about this one a couple of times. So I'm excited to give this a try. And it has like these little plastic gems, these custom dice. So I think it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. It plays in 30 minutes, so that's pretty good. Yeah, so Istanbul, the dice game. And then when I was at Gobfest flea market, and I was out of control buying every game I could get my hands on, apparently, I bought Valida. Maybe it's Valida. And I know nothing about it, but my friend who was there, Carla, said she's played it, she liked it, and it looks really neat with all the little tiles and got the board in the middle. I have no idea how this plays, but we'll be giving that a try and see how it is. Valida. All right, and then we also have Catan Traders and Barbarians. This actually adds a lot of different variation that you can do with Catan, and I've only done a few of them. But it has like different type of boards. I'm not sure how they all going to work out, and then rivers that kind of block stuff off. So it'll be interesting to give this a try. They did also have like a card version where instead of rolling the dice, you kind of go through the cards, so it's a little bit more even and not as luck driven. Like it'll be more common to have the different numbers come up as well. But so that's Catan, Traders, and Barbarian. And then we have, of course, the regular Catan. So Settlers of Catan, this is one that my family just adore. Every time we play it, they like it. It's not one that we have to kind of really twist arms all that much to get them to come to the table. I mean, Catan has been like the starting game for a lot of board gamers. And I mean, it's no different for us. We played this one a lot. I wouldn't say this is the game that got me into the hobby because I didn't know there was other games when I played Catan, so we just played Catan all the time. Yeah, this is just like a classic that I'll probably always have in my collection. So Catan, the Settlers of Catan. Then I have the Game of Things. We actually played this at Christmas or Easter with my family. And it's interesting. You'll have different categories. So this one is like things you wish grew on trees. And everybody has a little piece of paper and they write an answer. And then the person who kind of read the question will write an answer as well. Read them all to everybody. And then you try to guess who said what. So then you would have the kids kind of like, you know, Nick would answer as if he's pretending to be Jerome. It's like, what would Jerome write? He would write this, so that's what Nick would answer. So they're trying to kind of trick each other that way as well. It's neat. It's kind of a really cool party game. You can play this at pretty much any player count as long as that's more than 4. And I really enjoy this one. So the Game of Things. Then I have Cash Flow. So this is Cash Flow. It got revamped. So this is the revamped version. And honestly, I don't like this one as much as the original Cash Flow 101. But this is a game that we used to teach real estate and stock investing mindset. And it's just an amazing kind of investment simulation game. It was great. Like I have played this game probably at least 100 times. So we've played this once or twice a week for years and years and years. So we played this a lot. I've taught people how to play this a lot, and that's Cash Flow. And then you also have Cash Flow 202. So this is an expansion to Cash Flow 101, or the original, this version I just talked about. And this one includes kind of more advanced trading strategies. So then it includes options trading, and it includes shorting now, which is really interesting how they do that in the game. But that's Cash Flow 202. And then we have Trois. So I've played this one once, just 2 players, and I'm really interested to play it again. It kind of really felt like a dice worker placement engine building game. So you have your dice, you roll them, and I think a higher player count will make it more interesting. And then you can utilize your dice, but you can also mitigate, like kind of do so that you can utilize the other player's dice as well. And then depending on the color and the pip on where to place them, what they'll do and activate. So this is just a really neat classic Euro game. Trois. And then I have Medieval Academy, and this one is super interesting in the way it plays. You have these different boards, and then you're going around, and you can add, like, kind of move your token ahead on them, and then depending on who's in the lead, who scores what, and so on. So you're just kind of like doing these different things so you can move your token ahead on each of the different categories, utilizing the cards that you got. It was neat. It definitely played different. This is a kind of a mechanism that I haven't really seen in a lot of other games. And I've played this one, geez, probably half a dozen times or more now. I've had it for quite a while, so 2 to 5 players. It just has a fairly unique style of game. And I mean, it's very based on theme, like it's Medieval Academy, just because of the image they've put on this. Could have been any other theme, but it's just an interesting game. So Medieval Academy. And then I have Diamant, or Diamond, but yeah, Diamant. So it's also called Ink and Gold, I believe is a similar version of this game. And everybody gets these little kind of foamy, put together treasure box. Now the version I had played with, my friend's version, had like a little lid. It was like an actual treasure box. This one is just a little box, and you're going into this expedition, and then you'll kind of have different gold that comes, or diamonds that comes up, and then when they come up, like everybody will kind of share it between them. And depending on the number of players, now if there's not enough to go around equally, they stay behind and you keep going, and then a monster will appear. Well, if you ever reveal multiple of the same monster, you get captured or whatever, so you don't get to finish your expedition, you don't get to keep your diamonds. But at any time, you kind of decide, okay, are you going to keep pushing, or are you going back? And you kind of reveal whether you're going or not. And then if you're going back, and you're the only one going back, then you can go back and collect all the diamonds on the way back. Now, if 2 people are going back at the same time, then it's the same thing. If you get to a tile and there's 1 diamond left, and you can't divide that between the 2 of you, you have to leave it behind and keep going. So you collect on the way in, and if you play your cards right, you can collect on the way out as well. So that's a really interesting game. Diamond. And then I have Ground Floor, and Ground Floor is a really neat economic game. So it's a worker placement game, and where you're running a business, so you have to hire employees, you have to pay them, you have to advertise your business, increase your marketing, produce goods, then you have to kind of make them in the factory, and then you got to sell them in the retail stores, and so on. And then you have your player board that has different actions you can do there as well, and each round you can add a new floor, and there's just like a tile that's an angled tile, and you just kind of add on, so your building gets taller and taller. It is such a neat economic game. I really enjoyed it. It's not one that I hear about almost at all. I think, was it a Kickstarter game? I'm not sure, but it's Tasty Minstrel game. David Short's the designer, so I don't know a whole lot about him, but it's such a cool game. And then just the way that it looks, all the components are really amazing. I really enjoy this one. So, Ground Floor. And then the last one in this box is Flick 'em Up, Dead of Winter. I've set this up once and it was super neat. So you kind of have these different 3D buildings that you put on your table, and then you have these zombie wooden kind of stands up, and then you have like these different things that you'll put, and then you have your characters, and you have like a bullet or like different things that you can do. So there's a bullet, there's a baseball bat, and then you set it down and you flick it and you try to hit the other zombies. But you set up different scenarios, so in each scenario is going to play and get set up slightly differently, and then you have a different objective you're trying to do. So we played one where you had to get to the bus. And we sent like the one people in the bus, and you're trying to kill these zombies on the way in. Really interesting. It's kind of really cool to play. So flick them up, Dead of Winter. And that's the last one in this box. So that was box number 24. Be sure to tune in tomorrow to see what's in box number 25. And then after the box 25, there's only one more. Then the whole collection is unboxed. We'll be organizing everything, and then I'll be videoing the big, great reveal of what the whole board game room looks like and how everything's settled. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. Bye, everybody.